Hey guys! So the other day I woke up and somebody was like, wow, I'm so upset that Hobikage is getting all of these hate comments. And I was like, hate comments? Where the hate comments? I check, and apparently I didn't make an obligatory everything wrong with Infinity Nikki video yet. So that means I'm a bootlegger and I suck up to multi-billion-dollar companies, which is crazy. You probably know this better than me because I don't actually watch Infinity Nikki related content, but a lot of people have been making videos about the 1.5 update because it is riddled with glitches. Now, my thing is, the game has been riddled with glitches since 1.0. So it's nothing new to me. I didn't think I really needed to make a video, but apparently I need to make a video and I need to speak out about this topic. There's a couple things I want to say. The first part of the video is going to be things I don't like about the game. The second part of the video is going to be a message I have to the fans, to the fan base, because I do think we need to talk about the idea of being an official content creator and what that means and how people get put on a pedestal. And then the last part of the video is going to be some clips from my live stream because I actually do talk about things I like and don't like about the game. There's so much to talk about. I'm going to try to go over the things that I think are important because everybody and their mother has already made this video. I'm not going to sit here and repeat what Sally and Amy and Catherine already said. That's a waste of time. Now, in the 1.5 update, we all know that everybody was really excited for the dying system. Listen, I posted a video where I was reading through all the updates and it seemed really cool in theory, but the execution it's so player unfriendly. It's not very kind to make the resource that unlocks the different colors something that is so rare, especially since this is the launch of that new system, of that new play style, which means they're giving us extra resources. After this event goes by, the amount of, I don't even know what they're freaking called, I'll put it on screen. The amount of this item is going to decrease exponentially. Also, the fact, and this is what blew me, because I was going to make a whole video kind of saying, here's how you play Infinity Nikki as of 1.5, but I didn't know how the dice system worked. When I figured out the dice system is you buy a palette per outfit, I lost my mind. I wish I could find a Twitch clip, but I was so unhappy. Because what if I want all my dresses just to be blue? If I want every dress to be blue, I have to buy blue for every single dress? That doesn't make sense to me. And at first, I was kind of content with the free colors they gave us to trial, but I noticed that those default palettes, the earlier palettes, I'll show them on screen, these palettes, they're so muddy. The colors are muddy, they're murky. They're not a bright red, a bright green, a bright blue. They're not the primary colors. They're not even white or black. We don't have a white or black for free. Why would you do that? Why would you choose such unusable colors? The only thing I can think of for them giving us unusable colors is just so we can understand the mechanics of how dyeing works so that we can go and spend, whether it be real money or whether it be in-game currency. And I'm not afraid to spend in the game. I've been free to play, I've been a low spender, and I've been a whale. A whale is someone who spends lots of money on these gacha games. But to do something that's so on the nose, it feels nefarious. Hot take, part of me is okay with the fact that the colors don't actually dye to clothes. It just lays on top of whatever base color you have. It makes it so when you're coloring the entire outfit, you still get different hues and shades instead of just one block color. I do think that's good. But it does mean that we don't get the true color that we're paying for. And if you don't check, if you don't make sure that that blue you want is the right blue to go on top of that purple or that red dress, you can wind up wasting money or nothing. I'm willing to give Infinity Nikki the benefit of the doubt, at least until 2.5. After 2.5, we're still doing, this, I might have to talk. But I'm willing to give the game the benefit of the doubt because it is new. It is the first open world game of this type in the Infinity Nikki franchise. But my soul was crushed when the new region got released, and it's so empty. I don't know how to explain it. I think everyone should go on YouTube and look up what makes a good open world good. But in Infinity Nikki, it just feels like the caves are very barren. It feels like there's no purpose to explore. Whatever plant that you need to get to craft some dress, whatever bug you need to catch can be found in the outskirts of any major city like Flora Wish or the Fairyland. I don't know what it's called. I can't think of the best way to explain why I feel like the open world is so empty. Maybe it's because it lacks purpose, it lacks character, architecture, the landscaping. It feels very crafted in a way that makes it easier for people to live and like thrive as a society, which is not how nature works. I think in Genshin, and I'm gonna reference Genshin in this video a few times because we have all played Genshin. All right, it's a basis. It's a good basis to refer back to. I feel like in Genshin, when you move throughout the land, you have to cross a river. You have to go around a mountain, maybe. You know, the world gets in your way. And I think that doesn't happen with Infinity Nikki. And it's really interesting because you have to find that balance between making a world that feels lived in and it feels like there's real nature versus being a cozy, casual, friendly experience. The only part of the open world that was truly interesting is in, again, I forget the name at the moment, but the fairies, the Feywish sprites, they have a Legend of Zelda type ruin that's got statues with lasers. That, and along with like 2 caves, are the only parts in the world where it was exciting to explore. Everything else is just a rolling hill and trees, a rolling hill and field. One of my favorite things about Infinity Nikki is the story. I absolutely, well, you know, what was the story? I have no idea what's going on in the story now, but what was the story was my favorite. I loved the politics in the flying potato sack people's land. I loved the religious cult that kidnapped humans, aka the Feywish sprites. It was intriguing. It was fascinating. I don't know why they threw that all away. It doesn't make sense. Making it so these worlds have died off so many times and Nikki is the only constant, it makes the relationships we've had with the characters pointless. The Momo we have isn't our Momo. That's just a new AI generated Momo that popped up. The last Momo got destroyed. You know, we met whatever that Feywish sprite's name was, and we met Raggedy. Do these people mean nothing? These relationships that we have built. Where's Giovanni? Where's that man? Everything we have built and loved is temporary and fleeting. So what's the point? Now you're saying, well, the point is to keep trying because we're good people and that's what goodness does. Like we do it for goodness sake, but we're not good people because they took that away from Nikki. Nikki's character used to choose to do good because she could do it. You know, she chose to help out the sick people that were randomly fading because she's a good person and that's what she does. You put the fate of the universe at stake and now it's like she has to help because if she doesn't, the world ends. That's such a cheap cop-out. I feel like they brought in the purple dress, the Sea of Stars, as a, you know, obviously it's a reference to previous games, but I think they brought it in to appease other players because that means nothing to newer players. That means nothing to the Infinity Nikki fan base. For the Nikki franchise fan base, it means something, but for Infinity Nikki fans, it means nothing. And at a point where people are craving more story, where they're craving more challenges, where they're craving more systems in the game, a throwback to the good old days is not, it's not what I would have done. Not if I was making the game. That would have been my last thought, but that's just me. Hey, so if it looks like I filmed this video on 2 different days, it's because I did for 2 reasons. One, my glasses are crooked and they were jacked in the original footage. So I'm just refilming some of that. And also I am terrified, and I'm not even joking, terrified of the words I'm saying being misunderstood. So I'm repeating, rewording, reiterating parts of the video. That being said, 1.5 comes out. You start seeing a bunch of videos on YouTube. 1.5 is trash. 1.5 is bad. Worst update ever. That riles up people. That gets the blood pumping. Now everyone's extra mad because it's like, Oh my gosh, you think it's bad? I think it's bad. You think it's bad? I think it's bad. We all think it's bad. And it builds, it builds, it builds, right? And then you look at other people, other content creators who haven't made a video saying it's bad. Now people are in their comments, in my comments, saying, hey, why don't you think it's bad? Oh, you just must be sucking up the company. You're afraid to speak out. And there's a lot to unpack with that. If you're watching this and you haven't seen it, I'm jealous. If you're thinking that's not what you did, then it's not what you did. I'm not saying anyone watching is guilty of this. I'm just speaking in general. There's a couple things I want to say. Before you start praising someone for making a video calling out all the issues with a game, ask yourself, do they even like the game? Have they made YouTube videos about it? TikToks? Do they stream the game? Have they ever mentioned a game ever? Or did they just wait for this trend so that they can get some quick views? Because I'll be the first to admit, one, I'm a D1 yapper. I love talking about things. I'm also a D1 hater. I love hating on things. So when Love and Deep Space was having a bit of drama a couple months ago, I made a video and I made $383. In this economy, that's good money. Knowing you can make good money off of following a trend, ask yourself, do those people make videos because they actually care about Infinity Nikki, or was their car payment due? And I think it's the latter. I think people expect a lot from content creators. With great power comes great responsibility. So if you have the ability to use your platform for good, you should use it, right? I just think that sometimes people think we're like either K-pop idols locked behind some contract and we can't say anything, or people think that we're not real people. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to make this into a sob story about how people need to be nicer to content creators. It's just that I actually just did some digging too. So I have seen content creators get unwarranted hate for just existing. Overall, I just want the Infinity Nikki community to work together a little better. We are all consumers of a free-to-play gacha game. Could we please exercise more patience and understanding for our fellow person? Because honestly, we're all in this together. Now, with all that being said, I just realized there's one more thing I want to say to content creators. Be honest always. Give your unpopular opinion. If you don't like something, even if everyone loves it, it's okay to not like it. It's okay to be not excited about an update. Part of the reason why viewers have such a distrust of content creators and they think we're all in some cult and we're all lying to save face or something, which is actually a comment that I saw, is because, maybe hot take, we're not being as authentic as we could be. You're telling me every single update, you liked every single outfit, you liked every single event, Now, I'm not like the biggest content creator, so maybe you shouldn't listen to me. But it's okay to say you don't like something. I'm a full-time content creator. This is my only job. And not being myself has never benefited me. Granted, I do tend to be more smiley and bubbly on camera. But other than that, like this, it is best to be yourself. It is best to be authentic. It is best to give that hot take. It's okay. Like we gonna be okay. When the game first came out, I was like complaining about how it wasn't working. I was like, this game does not open. It does not load. Like, what's going on? And people gaslit me. They were like, you need a better PC. You need a better like this and that. Like do y'all remember that? Like the fans were hella like gaslighting PC players because we were saying how the game's not working. Look at us now. Ain't nobody can play the game now. They need to focus on the story. What story? What is the story? Seriously though. It's just for photos? What do you mean it's just for photos? They don't even look like a real table. How is it just for photos if it looked like floating object? This is so stupid. If I'm gonna be honest, Infinity Nikki has been a little bit boring for me for like the past 2 months. Transform into a tiny doll and bounce around with big, powerful tail, seeing the world from the doll's perspective. We better not turn to that ugly little doll right there. It better be a cute little doll. Absolutely not. And they won't notice you. However, comma, a majority of us have already found like the easy treasure chest or have already overcome fighting S-lings. So it's like, do we need it?